It's the Mustang Insider Show.
What's going on, Mustang fans? This is another edition of the Cal Poly Mustang Insider, where we break down everything Cal Poly athletics. We're getting you ready for a terrific weekend in Mustang athletics. So we're going to be talking with the volleyball superstar, Maia Dvoracek, her resurgent campaign as she comes back and plays here in 2022 for the first time since the 2019 season. And the Cal Poly Volleyball red hot. They've won 5 straight. They're going to be on national TV against rival UC Santa Barbara this Friday on ESPNU. If you can't make it down to the Thunderdome and spread some green and gold around that visiting arena down there, certainly hope you could check out the matchup on national TV. A great exposure for Cal Poly Volleyball. Then Saturday at Spanos Stadium, it's the Fireworks Spectacular, sponsored by your Central Coast Honda dealers, against Sacramento State, the 5th-ranked team of the FCS. Cal Poly football opens up Big Sky Conference play. That's a 5 p.m. kick at Spanos Stadium with a super special halftime announcement set for that game as well. And then we'll wrap up the weekend on the pitch with Cal Poly men's soccer on Sunday, opening up their Big West home schedule. But as always, we'd like to thank our partners for making this content possible. Dignity Health, you can trust that quality care is just around the corner at French Hospital Medical Center. Proud supporter of Cal Poly Athletics. Learn more at dignityhealth.org/French Hospital. And by Grocery Outlet. Mustang fans, you won't want to miss all the yummy dishes in the Grocery Outlet Mustang Tailgater Recipe Book and all your fresh ingredients at Grocery Outlet's San Luis Obispo store on Madonna. Download the Mustang Tailgater booklet today on gopoly.com/publications. All right, here is Mustang senior volleyball player Maia Dvoracek. All right, Maia, thanks for taking some time to join us here on Mustang Insider. I know Cal Poly fans are so excited to have you back on the floor with this team. And it took a while out of the gate to get back in the win column, albeit against some really good competition. I mean, you guys took ranked teams up in Seattle, Washington, Pepperdine to a 5th set. You fought hard against the likes of Utah State, Northwestern, and then everything seemed to kind of come together after that Washington weekend where you go to Northern Colorado and you don't lose a set. I mean, you sweep Santa Clara, sweep Northern Colorado, sweep Tarleton State, and that really propelled you guys to this 2-0 start in the Big West. First off, how have you been, and how good does it feel to be back on the floor with your teammates?
It's been a really long time coming. So it's hard to describe, all the emotions, all the pieces that that have come together since 2019, since I've been on the court in a jersey again. So the big thing, like playing in Mott and seeing the community come out, hearing the band, like their entire intro, like I just forgot about the little aspects that just make game day and being with your team just that much. It's so special and it's so unique, I think, to slow. And so it validated everything that I've been through in the past 3 years, all of it. It was magical basically to be back out there.
Yeah, and you're talking about the injury that kept you out of 2021. And obviously the rehab was tough. We had Caroline Walters on here about a month ago, and she got a little emotional when she talked about your comeback from the injury, where you weren't sure if you were going to be able to play volleyball again, yet alone at the high level you've been able to here the last couple of weeks. Take me through, how the ups and downs, the roller coaster from, you finish up the 2019 season, obviously going into 2020, you felt like you had a little chip on your shoulder. You guys wanted to get back to the postseason again. And then there was no 2020 season. You get hurt before 2021. You're not able to play at all last year. And really almost 3 full years in between matches for you in a Cal Poly uniform. Take me through that stretch if you could.
Yeah, no. Thinking back to it, I mean, I still can feel all the emotions that came in 2019 when we lost to Stanford in the second round of the tournament. Obviously, that's huge. And playing in the tournament and feeling that all you want to do is get back to it. And so we were dying as soon as that season ended to get back in the gym, to get working and to play against some really tough teams. And then obviously COVID hit. We thought we'd be out for 2 weeks, and then everyone dealt with what came next. But between us and the Ivies being the only two conferences in the entire country that didn't get to play a COVID season, even shortened or um, like in the winter, anything logistics like that worked for other programs, just it didn't work out for us in the Big West. So that was tough. And then once we finally felt like we were kicking again and got to maybe be back in a jersey and return some really cool key parts and a bunch of seniors, a really old team of girls that have been playing together for a while. And then, yeah, a mistake on my part in a April afternoon, yeah, sent me to the ER and out for the next year, 12 months total. Um, that was that was pretty hard to deal with at the time, especially knowing how excited I was for this fall or that fall back in 2021. But yeah, so I moved home, got a lot of support from my family, from my parents, from the team while I was away. I spent a ton of time in PT. I was seeing my surgeon at Stanford because I knew as soon as I got hurt and I saw my scans and how kind of gnarly and big of an injury it was that I needed to go somewhere good. It was just how can I get back to Cal Poly? How can I get back in Mott? How can I put a jersey on again? There was a part of me that was like, I don't even need to jump again. If you can just let me play back row or anything, like I just have to play again. So that's basically just got me up every day, got me doing PT, the little things. It was a long year, but this season, this group of people, I like to think everything happens for a reason. And yeah, it's been 1,079 days since I
Wow.
played in Mott. But that day stepping in, I just had to go through the gym and it was completely empty because seeing the bleachers out in the net set up and it was just I didn't realize how special it was when I had it. And now I understand it fully.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like game day. I know you were a part of some of the broadcasts last year, but there's nothing like suiting up and actually playing. And obviously, Mott, as you know, is a terrific atmosphere for volleyball. Come conference play, and when you have the students back, and that really showed out over the weekend when you guys beat Long Beach State in the conference opener 3-1, and then beat Cal State Fullerton 3-0. You mentioned your own perseverance in coming back from the injury, but how about this team? Caroline Walters, she always schedules tough out of conference competition to best prepare you guys for the Big West. It's not all about RPI and trying to grab an at large, but it really does help better prepare you for the conference slate in a year where a lot of people feel like the Big West is maybe better than it was at the top from a season ago. You guys start 0-7, but you were so close against nationally ranked competition. When did the switch kind of flip for you guys in between that Portland State loss and then head into Northern Colorado where you swept Santa Clara? It felt like everything started to go right after that moment for you guys.
Yeah, we kind of joked after being 0-7 that we were the best 0-7 team that has possibly ever played college volleyball. We were just like, it's there, like the pieces are there, like the components, like everyone, like we have the team, we have the talent. And we felt like we had the mojo and all that. It just wasn't translating into a win. And volleyball comes down to such small points and such small things that 2 points can flip the entirety of an entire match and go from being 0-1 to 1-0. And so we felt like that kind of happened throughout our preseason where we just couldn't get across the finish line. But our loss to Portland State, after we had been making what we felt were really good changes against UW and against Pepperdine, we were like, okay, we can play. We can play with the big teams. We can do this. The talent is there. It's just it needs to be focused and it needs to be a bit more consistent. And then being swept by Portland State after going 5 in those other games, we were just like, okay, like everyone was just like, we have to go back to the gym. We have to go back to Cal Poly. We have to just reset. Like, but there was never like a panic of this is never going to work. It was just we needed to click. We needed just like get 1 inch better every single day. And so there was never panic, but it was more just like, it'll come when it's ready. It'll come when we're all flowing. And I think the big thing was we just needed to relax and not really worry about a record, but just go out and play good, clean volleyball. And then I think once we got one win under our breath, it was just like a breath of fresh air where we could just be like, this works. Like we're doing good things. It's fine. it'll just come with time.
Maia Dvoracek, our guest on this edition of the Cal Poly Mustang Insider. The Mustangs perhaps playing as good a volleyball as anybody not in the top 25 right now. They've won 5 straight. And in that 5 straight winning stretch for you guys, you've only lost 1 set. And that was in the conference opener to a very talented Long Beach State team that loaded up on the transfer portal in the offseason, got a lot of gals from Power Five conferences. You've seen the Big West be as good as a 3-bid league in the past earlier in your career. As you approach it and just kind of get into the meat and bones of this conference season, where does the talent stand elsewhere in the conference, and how does that challenge you guys as a group moving forward?
I think the big thing, and one of the funniest things about the Big West is that you really never know how the conference is going to stack up until it's over. Because we just beat Long Beach and we beat Fullerton. Fullerton just beat Long Beach at home, which was a pretty big upset. And so there's all those things that we don't really no one really knows. Home away games are big, but if we're going by the coaches poll, it would put Hawaii is always a big game and always an emotional game, especially going to Stan Sheriff. That's just a whole different environment, a whole different world playing out on the island. And then obviously Santa Barbara is a rivalry match for us, being so close. But we really, really, really like to hold our hats on just worrying about the next game, worrying about the next opponent, because you never know when a team is going to play the best game of their life, if it's a grudge match for them and maybe it isn't for you. But we're really excited to play Santa Barbara on Friday, a very good Northridge team on Saturday, and then looking to Hawaii next weekend. So it's and I think we have, if I'm correct, we have Bakersfield on Tuesday in between the two. But yeah, taking it one game at a time, but always those emotional games always come out usually with Santa Barbara and Hawaii, which will always be a little bit more of grudge matches, especially the last time I played Santa Barbara did not go very well.
Yeah,
Hoping
it's
for a
kind
change this
yeah,
year.
I mean, last year, I mean, they came up here and they played really well, and then you guys, I know you weren't a part of it on the floor, but
Hmm.
then you guys go down there and you play extremely well. We're going to touch on that in just a moment. But now that you're a senior with this group, you have a lot of young players, a good mix, I feel like, of young players that are talented and getting experience game by game, and players like yourself that have been around, that can kind of show these underclassmen the ropes a little bit. Back when you were a freshman and a sophomore, who was it that kind of took you under their wing to kind of show you the ropes, get you more comfortable playing at this level, playing in this system? And I look at Tommy Stockham, who's still a very young player for you guys, the reigning student athlete of the week here at Cal Poly. She obviously played great over the weekend against Long Beach State and Cal State Fullerton. I mean, how have you kind of transitioned from being new and kind of learning from others, and now being in this leadership role in your final season?
Yeah, I mean, going all the way back to my freshman year, um, I rode the bench for 2 years behind Tori Van Winden, who is an All-American, transfer from UCLA, come to her parents' alma mater and her sisters. So I spent a lot of time learning from her and learning just she had just come off going to the Elite Eight with UCLA, so she had all that experience of playing really, really, really high level volleyball, and she brought that into our gym every single day. She had her standards set very high, and so to play behind someone that I thought um, that I could learn from and was really good about helping what would be like a next generation. So when she was gone, making sure that the team was going to be better when she left. Um, she had that attitude, and then I think it just helped, and she taught me so much about just I wanted to be her so bad. I wanted to be her so bad, but I knew I was never going to play over her. Um, but she just kind of taught me how to compete and how to be gritty and how to do all the little things. And she's one of the toughest competitors I know, and I think I did learn a ton from her. And I think anyone that's ever played with Tori would tell you she doesn't joke around about volleyball. She doesn't joke around about winning or losing. And so playing behind her was awesome. But now being a senior, um, I think one of the biggest things is like there isn't something I don't think that a freshman could come to me about and me say I haven't really experienced that. I mean, if you want to talk about sitting on the bench, Like, I talk about that. It's not that fun, but I know it's really important. And being a good teammate, cheering super loud, and then giving everything you have at practice is the reason teams get better. Injuries, I've been there. I don't know if there's anyone on our team that's been out longer than I have. So I can definitely relate. And I love talking to the girls that maybe need to take a little time off and how to come back and how to help themselves when they're away. I think it's all those little things that you just, I don't want to say, like, it sounds cliche that it comes with age, but I think it just comes from, I've been on the team for 6 years now. So I think there's a lot that we've been through, a lot of different personnel, a lot of different people, a different coaching staff. So it's been really cool to learn and to grow from each one of those. And I think um, in this last year here on the team, I'm trying at least to help the younger girls get there. And I think Tommy is a really good example of someone who's come in, put her head down and worked really hard and given a lot to the program.
Yeah, you guys have kind of become that dynamic 1-2 punch. You guys had double doubles against the Cal State Fullerton in your most recent 3-0 sweep over the weekend to wrap up the mini 2-game homestand. So now you go to Santa Barbara, and there's no there's no messing around here. That's a rivalry. You don't like them, they don't like you guys. This is the blue green rivalry. Now we saw it showcased in the big men's soccer game last week at Spanos, where they filled it with like 11,000 bodies. But this is a really big deal. This game is going to be on national television, ESPNU, 7:30 Pacific on Friday. They're a good squad. Make no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But you guys feel like anybody in this conference is beatable. You feel like after this stretch that you could beat anybody in the country when you guys are at your best. What do you know about this Santa Barbara team as you've gone into your prep, and what's it going to take to beat them at their place for a second straight year?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's always a lot of emotion, a lot tied in with this game. So it's really exciting. I'm really excited to get back into their gym and to do this on live TV. Um, the big thing they have some very good pin hitters. They have a good middle. They're they run a 6-2, so that means that they constantly have three attackers in the front row coming at us at all times, which is it's not unique to Santa Barbara. A lot of teams do it, but it's a different component, especially since we run a 5-1 in our own gym. So that's something that we are training and looking at differently. But the big thing I think when it boils down to it is we really just have to take care of what we're doing on our side of the net, and a lot of that comes in with serving and passing. I think in the women's game compared to the men's a lot, we have to be able to pass the ball, get our setter in system. I mean, even if we're passing, if we're not getting aced and we're getting put into high ball situations, I think we're still a very good offensive team that can manage and take swings and do stuff even when it's not pretty. So our big thing is just keeping the ball off the floor, get our setter in system, and just be really, really, really aggressive from the service line. And I think that'll be our MO for most of the teams for the year, is just go back and worry about us. And then usually the score takes care of itself a little bit more than worrying about what's going on the other side. But yeah, no mistakes about it. They're a very good team. They've shown that they have some offensive weapons. But I mean, you can't treat it any differently than it would be playing either of the teams this weekend, any of the teams in preseason. So trying to go into it with an open mind and just worrying about our side.
Yeah, rivalry renewed. It's Friday inside the Thunderdome. Cal Poly, UC Santa Barbara in the Big West. It doesn't get much better than this. 7:30 on ESPNU. It can be easy to see that the game's on TV and decide to order in a pizza and watch on your couch. But if you had a pitch for Cal Poly fans that are in and around the Central Coast, maybe even down in SoCal, we got to get some green and gold in that building on Friday night. What's your message to Cal Poly fans? They got to make the trip. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you don't come out. Santa Barbara, it's only an hour and a half away. Get in the car. It's not that bad. There's only a few times I'm only ever gonna get to play Santa Barbara twice ever again. So Adley Van Winden, an old Cal Poly alum, is on the coaching staff. So if you're looking for a little bit more ties there's a good one. I know it's going to be a good one. It's never not. It's always a battle between the two of us. I see it going long and all of us playing hard. And I I couldn't imagine a better matchup for a national television game. So I think it'll be a ton of fun, and it really isn't that far of a drive.
All right, that's Maia Dvoracek, Cal Poly women's volleyball. They're hot, 5 straight wins. They'll try and make it 6 on national TV at rival UC Santa Barbara on Friday night. Maia, thanks so much for your time. It's so great to see you out on the floor, and hope to catch up with you again later in the season.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me.
This has been the Mustang Insider Show. The preceding has been a Learfield's presentation on the Cal Poly Sports Network.